Event number 6 here on the American Gladiators, Human Cannonball. We're about to find out whether it's really true or whether it's better to give than receive. The givers in Human Cannonball will be our contenders, the receivers, Zap and Storm. Each contender given 2 swings. A look at Lynn Murphy, who really needs to get going. She trails 20-7 against Lisa Wojciechowski. Again, each swing worth 5 points. Storm and Zap. Here comes Lynn, here comes Wojo, there goes Zap, there goes Storm!
So let's go ahead with level 2 Cannonball, shall we? And you know, it's pretty much the same thing. And I'll show you some of the errors and victories I've made throughout here. And speed up the footage when it takes a little bit too long once in a while. Now you notice that glove there. If I had grabbed that, I would have been able to move up and down the hole freely there. So this is probably one of the easiest events. All you have to do is make sure you grab as low as possible and hit the gladiator as low as possible without actually ramming yourself into the platform. And this is the level 3 part of it. I'd originally planned to do this in level by level, but I'll go with infin by infin instead. And I still found it funny. Now this is the hard part. You actually have to grab onto it while the opposing platform is a screen or 2 across from you. And I was surprised I landed that one just right on the first try. No retakes. A lot of these games are reliant on memorization of how many swings it takes, such as in Cannonball here. And up there you can see a trophy. That's actually a 1's up there, and if you had grabbed the glove previously, you can easily get it, then slide back down to a place where you can actually knock the gladiator off this platform. And you gotta wait until it's just right before landing on him, because if you land too high, you'll hit him on his shield and it'll just bounce off as if you're a 40-pound weakling or something. Now I'm going to go ahead and show the entirety of the walls, or most of them rather. Of course, I use save states throughout this so I can do a smooth showing of all the crap you have to dodge and some of the rather unfair positions that you would not be able to get through in the first try, such as these narrow platforms. You have to actually go slowly and press the button in just the right place, or you lose your grip and plummet to your death, I suppose, since they are lives. Yeah, and here I was just beginning to make save states saying, heck with it, I just want to get this review over with. Don't get me wrong, the game is fun for a first playthrough, but otherwise this would be something you'd maybe compete with a friend. And now that glove is real nice. You actually don't, you can just go by the directional pad rather than having to press BA and wearing out your fingers like I did. And considering I did this on the keyboard as well, I hurt my hand for a day or 2 after going through the all these mazes as rapidly as I can. So while the wall is finishing up here, I'm going to go ahead and talk about a little bit about the graphics. Note this game was made in 1991. Even though it was in the NES, you'd expect something a little bit better than this here. These are almost Atari-like graphics, although the portraits are really well made, and they're actually pretty good quality on those. And the wall's difficulty starts getting a little bit more difficult as far as where your hand placement is, according to where all the bricks used to be, and now you just get a grid, how you say, a strange grid-like system. And you have to decide which path you're going to take and if that path would work. Now you'll see right here it gets extremely narrow. and I actually have to go very slowly and press the control direction just right in order to get through. These mazes start to get longer and longer, and you wonder how you can actually get through the entire maze in 99 seconds. But fortunately, you don't have to get through the entire maze in the time, because you just don't get your bonus at the end, you don't lose a life or such. And hopefully you master climbing by now, because it becomes a game of dodging the gladiator at the worst possible moment. And that is the end of wall level 3. Moving on to the 4th level of the wall, you can see it takes sort of a sci-fi like appearance. And I just have to re-emphasize how sore my fingers were. I think I had arthritis in them for 3 days after playing the wall this much. And this is, of course, after all the outtakes, all the save states, so you're getting a lot more than just 2 minutes of wall climbing. And this, how am I supposed to do that? Very slowly and very precisely. You have to keep track of where each hand is and move the directional pad accordingly. Because if you make a mistake, you're going to fall down. And of course, they stick gladiators at the worst possible points, as I mentioned before. And at this point, I'm not even caring how fast or how slow I go. Might as well forget the time limit there. You can really feel the tension now, can't you? These steps are so far apart, you're wondering, how can you humanly do this? Well, this definitely isn't a game for humans, I can tell you that. Because can you imagine the studio? How big the studio would have to be to house a maze this huge? It's not even a wall, it's a freaking 500 foot by 500 foot maze. You'd have to do at least 2 basketball courts to fit all this onto one wall. What is that? 500 feet being at least 20 stories high. Now we're talking King Kong and the Empire State Building levels here. Okay, that was a little pointless, but yeah, you're gonna see gladiators just falling out of nowhere for no reason. Unfortunately, you can trick them like that into falling down early so they don't give you trouble later. And as you can see, I'm well past the 99-second mark. I just had to take a rest there. And if you can navigate them over those places without grips there, you can do pretty well. And finally... And that took so long, so we go to part 3.
It's the American Gladiators on Family Feud in the Battle of the Sexes. Introducing the American Gladiator women, Sky, Ice, Zach, and Panther. For action. And their opponents, the American Gladiator men, Saber, Nitro,